Welcome to the first ever SKP podcast episode. I'm Spencer. This is Keaton.
Yeah, this is the first podcast. Pretty excited. We're going to kind of talk about things on this podcast that have either been on our mind or, just topics that we think have value to them. We feel like this topic today is of great value, especially for us.
Yeah, so the topic today is something that's been on my mind lately as we start this creator journey is the difference between planning and doing and kind of what lies in the challenges within that.
If you think about just like the two words in that, like planning versus doing, you have planning, right? You're sitting down, writing out what you want to do, putting together your shots, your things that you want. I mean, we don't have to relate this to photography or videography. I mean, I think it'd be better if we did, but it could go any direction. So you have your planning and then your doing. Your doing is obviously going out and shooting and doing what you want to do, what you plan for.
They both have their place, I think is what you're trying to say? So for me, one of the things like we've been trying to plan out for a while now, kind of what we want to do here on YouTube, what we want our business to be. We've talked a lot. We've wrote down a lot.
From day one,
we've been making lists and ideas and all this stuff. One of the things that caught me this week was, and probably a lot of you too here on YouTube, is we learn a lot from YouTube. Yeah. So I'll be sitting watching YouTube, taking tutorial videos and all that sort of thing. And this last week I started watching the tutorials. I was looking up, specifically it was like growing on Instagram, growing your brand and your channel. And I was looking up videos specifically on this, and they would go through their top 5 steps. This is the way that you're going to grow online. And I had this like wake up moment this week. And I was watching this video. I was like, yeah, okay, I know that. Fast forward. Yeah. Like, yeah, that was in that other video. I know that. And I got to this point and I was like, I know this. I'm literally sitting here wasting my time because I know this.
Yeah.
What am I doing?
I do the same thing. And I mean, as far as photography and videography goes, you have definitely put in more effort in making sure that you know everything and you're very skilled and like you have an eye for it.
Thank you.
Yeah, you've put in that time, and I think kind of need that wake up call that you had, like, what am I doing? Like, I'm sitting here watching tutorials. Why am I not doing?
Exactly.
I'm like getting the chills talking about this.
I know. Literally, when that happened, I called you and I was like, dude, we need to meet and we need to start posting tomorrow. Right. We need to get on this.
And we did.
We literally met the next day. I think the biggest difference between what we were doing and what we started doing, we were writing out our plan and, hey, we want to do things like this. Epic scenes like this would be really cool. This kind of music or these angles or these tutorials that we could teach, when we should have been, what action steps can we take? What do we need to do to start releasing this content? We had all this content built up in our mind and on these lists and all that, but
it will look so good in your mind, and you can sit there for days and days planning out stuff. You can have such big dreams in this planning. If you don't go out there and do it, you're just going to be daydreaming.
You have to almost have this wake up call that I had where it's like, I'm sitting here. What am I doing? Let's schedule out. Yeah. All right. On the 11th, we're going to do this. On the 15th, we're going to do this. These days, we're going to post these videos and these photos.
From day one, we, created that Google Doc and wrote out everything we wanted to do. And that was great until we started setting dates, treating it more like a business and saying, okay, we need to meet on this date and we're going to talk about this. That is good planning. There is planning from the beginning where you want to go with it. And then you have planning to like actually executing the plan that you've made before that plan.
Yeah.
That might sound a little confusing, but once we started setting dates, okay, we're going to start doing,
Yeah.
So
for me too, it was like, it was setting the dates, but it was also like, because we would talk about, okay, we want to shoot these batched reels. Like today, we went out and shot a bunch of different kind of content for reels on Instagram. Prior, we had been like, okay, these are kind of the ideas. It was never a conversation until recently of like, we need to make a shot list. We need to make like kind of a plan of like, this is exactly the action that we need to take to achieve our goal.
Yeah. I'm kind of glad you had like that good slap in the face almost, because you kind of get to a point where you're just twisting your thumbs.
And I hope that kind of inspires you, whoever's watching. You're probably on YouTube. You're probably like, hey, how do I get motivation? Like, these are things I've looked up. How do I motivate myself?
Yeah.
How do I...
No, there's tons of
How do I grow? How do I do... It's so repetitive, and you know this. You know this.
Yeah.
And you need to take action on it.
You sit there and watch all these videos, these tutorials and all this stuff. You kind of get in this mindset, this feeling of wanting to almost copy others because of like,
Yeah.
because they're, you know, they've been successful, they've done something right. I just need to go do what they're doing. That's what comes from watching these tutorials, when YouTube is such a creative platform for yourself, making something of yourself. I'm not trying to go copy Peter McKinnon or Casey Neistat. And I can watch their tutorials and like, I'll get that vision and that vibe from them. In reality, when I go out and shoot,
You need to be you.
I need to be me.
Yeah, and you need to do what makes you you.
Right.
I don't think there's nothing wrong with watching these other people and getting inspired and getting ideas.
Oh,
And
absolutely not.
I do think, you know, you need to be you, and you're watching these videos and you're like, wow, I would love to do that. Or I'm going to do that, you know, with Keaton.
Yeah.
We're going to shoot this shot. We're going to make this short film, whatever it is. It's up right now. It's up here.
Yeah.
You need to take the action of doing.
It's like as simple as that. And going back to Casey Neistat, he's got it tattooed on himself on one of his arms or something. He's got "do more" period tattooed on his arm or somewhere on his body. It's like such a good,
Like
thing.
a reminder, kind of. Yeah.
And that's what he does. He literally goes and goes and goes and does his own thing. And he may plan out, you know, he's done movies and he's done a few things here and there that he's definitely planned out for.
Yeah.
All of his vlogs are like before the sunrise and then goes after the sunset.
He's a good example of commitment, which I think is a big part of doing.
Huge commitment.
Commitment and consistency. When you commit to something, that is you taking it out of your mind and putting it into action. That's you like, I am committing to making a podcast with Keith, or, you know, we're going to shoot these films. I'm committed to that. I'm going to do what it takes to make that happen.
It's definitely a thing where you have a plan and you can plan all day long until you go do it, until you go shoot. And like what we did today, we had this huge plan all before. We had a plan of what we wanted to shoot and what we wanted to accomplish. For the most part, we got that done.
Did it go to plan?
If you have this plan, you're going to go out and shoot and do that plan. It's going to change. It's going to change.
But as long as you're consistently doing and trying and making the effort and taking the action, that's where you thrive.
Yeah. That's the biggest takeaway from this is plan all you want, daydream all you want, but until you go do, you're not going to get too far.
Short message, short podcast. That was just something that was kind of a topic between the two of us this last week. And we just wanted to hope, you know, somebody out there is watching this and they're sitting there watching YouTube and maybe this inspires them to get off their behind and
go do.
And do. Anyway, we'll see you guys in the next one. Hope you enjoyed it. Like and subscribe, please. It helps us grow.
See you later.